Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, June 21st. Quick reminder, the markets are closed on Monday, and this will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First, a couple of clarification points. This price over here you see will be changing around still, and this candlestick will be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. So keep that in mind. And then also I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for you beginners out there, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, REV, did this one in the previous watch list video and talked about how there is this sideways channel here that formed. And it was a big question going into today of, who's ultimately going to win out? And we got our answer here. Not only did the bulls win out, they went out in a big way and got a beautiful breakout to the upside. So this channel has been broken, and that's where the first update comes into play. And this update is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So ideally speaking, best case scenario is the price stays above that pink line right there, the 200 period moving average, currently valued at 368. But if the price does drop below it, not the end of the world or anything like that, because you still do have that $3 mark down there as more so an overall level of support. In terms of levels of resistance, squeeze things down here a bit more. The next key overarching level to keep a close eye on is this going to be this area up here at $4.90, I suppose, if you want to just round it up to $5, that round number, that works too. But that will definitely be the main level, which is coming from this area of the chart where you can see presented some problems before things rolled back over. But any way you look at it, fantastic way to end the week. Huge price movement, huge volume. So let's see what happens with it next week. Next, Mreo. And first dynamic that stands out immediately to me is this resistance trend line right here. I mean, check that out. That trend line has been basically as accurate as it gets. I mean, the power of charts, check that out. I mean, by using these two data points right there and there, forecasted that one and forecasted that one. So on any sort of turnaround back to the upside, definitely watch that trend line because, like I said, especially after today, it's developed itself as quite an accurate area on the chart. So watch that. But as I speak right now, quite a bit of a pullback here the past several minutes. And in fact, the last 30 minutes, this candle, as you can see, as I speak, this thing is getting lower and lower. So big pullback here, which now brings about some areas of support and where this thing could potentially pull back to and present an interesting situation. And two main areas of support stand out to me. First one there at $1.25, and then after $1.25, next key level down there at right around the $1.18 mark. So $1.25, which who knows, is this thing about to come into play here? Maybe, but $1.25, $1.18. Now, if this thing actually does break down through these in the next 13 minutes, because the market's open for another 13 minutes, then when you watch this video, you're going to see that. And that would just illustrate that, yeah, this pullback here really spun that much more out of control. So again, not saying that will happen, but like I said, if you're watching it, by the time you watch this video, the market will be closed and you'll be able to know, does this pullback actually violate these lines or not? So you'll definitely want to take a note of that. Next, NIO, and another very, very nice day on this one after a rougher day yesterday with the pullback. But to illustrate this, let me actually extend this line out here at 2050 because that was an area of resistance going into today. And you can see that right at the beginning of the day, it acted just like you would expect as resistance, pulled back, but then the bulls came back, gave it another go, and then late day here, you can see the price did get the break up through that level. So a good significant move there, which brings about this first key update, which is, again, when the resistances are broken, you want to see them act as support. So ideally speaking, as far as, hey, Clay, what's going to make this chart look the absolute best? Certainly if the price can stay above 2050, but it's not like if the price falls below 2050, that implies the entire chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But yeah, if the price can stay above that area, that would certainly be a great sign of power. So you want to keep an eye on that. But from an overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line. And as long as the price stays above that line, then overall, the trend is, just fine. As far as next potential battleground, you're going to have to start to squeeze things down here quite a bit. Oh, wow. There we go. So we're going way back in the charts history now, which is a good problem to have because, it just illustrates that it's been quite a while since the price has been up this high. But the next key area of resistance, keep an eye on, right up there at $21, and let's make sure I got that right, $21.50. So $21.50, next key battleground to watch moving forward. But all in all, very, very nice week for this one. Next, SOUN, and this definitely seems one where it might have just been a quick pump and dump where you had this move here and then it just falls to pieces because, yeah, right now it's looking pretty weak. But to be fair, this pullback here has definitely been occurring on much lower volume. So from a volume analysis standpoint, that is what you would want to see. But I don't know. This one just seems fishy. But I could be totally wrong. That's why I'm still putting it on the watch list, because that's the idea of a watch list. Find interesting, find unique situations, and not just buy, but watch, observe, and then if they ultimately do behave in a way that fits your personal strategy, then at that point you can take some action. So it's not like I'm saying to just randomly buy this. I'm just saying I'm not quite sure how I personally feel about it, but I'm acknowledging it is a very unique situation. It's an interesting looking chart, so let's see how it plays out next week. And in my mind, 350, very important level. And I'm not saying this will occur, but if the price were to come down to 350 and then break down below there, what would you have at that point? You'd have the price having gone right back inside of this range where it already was. I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power, with true strength, are not going to go back to where they were. They're going to make some sort of sign of progress forward, and that's where this 350 mark is coming into play. If there is any sort of attempted recovery back to the upside, it's all about that pink line there, the 200 period moving average, which is essentially right where it got rejected from today. And that current value is up at 5 away. But let's just call it $5 to make it easy. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, to me, it's looking kind of shaky, but who knows? Maybe this is the start of something a lot bigger. Next, AMC, and a very, very nice recovery on this one as it got back above that trend line. So that's good to see, and I'm going to get rid of that as it served its purpose for now. But like what we just looked at, definitely I think the main level that most people will be watching, because this is not some sort of great discovery on my part. I assure you a lot of people are watching it, so whether you want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy or not, it is more than valid to think that a lot of people will be watching that pink line here, which rejected the price 3 times today. So if the price can recover and get back up to that area, while it's not guaranteed, it's rational to think, it's plausible that the price could generate some additional buying pressure and make a good quality move. So definitely keep an eye on that level, which currently valued at, let's just call it $12.65 as that initial area of resistance. And then if the price can push up through there, next key battleground to watch very closely, going to be right up there at $12.90. As far as areas of support are concerned, first key level to watch, I'm going to go ahead. Actually, why don't I just do this now that I think out loud? Get rid of these lines down there because they're not really relevant anymore given how much the price went up today. Because really the main level of support right here at the 50 period moving average, that purple line. So keep an eye on that moving forward. But yeah, in my mind, you have this nice pattern here. You have a nice bull pennant. And it's just a question of, can this bull pennant get the breakout through there and then get continuation up to that level to get further continuation? I think that's going to be the question on a lot of people's minds next week. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to help build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for this free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you see and you want to learn more, certainly get signed up for the free class. Next, SESN, and a nice pattern here, especially if you like to play penny stocks, had some good volume. And this is, again, a pattern that I think a lot of people will be watching. So call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. You know, depending on how the price moves, a lot of people may take action, well, just because the price is moving in a certain way relative to this pattern. So the first part of this pattern is going to be this resistance area that stands out quite a bit there at 88 cents. I realize, sure, the price did actually at one point get all the way up here, but after it settled back down, you know, that in my mind became a pretty clear line in the sand in terms of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, there's a very well-defined sideways area of support right there down here at 75. So let me change that to green to represent more so the bullish dynamic. And then maybe to make this all easier to see, let's just make it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move right here, and this would be known as a bull flag pattern. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull flag patterns, here you go. Next one, PLTR. Very, very impressive day today because yesterday when I was talking about this one, things were looking very shaky, not looking very good at all, but had a very, very impressive recovery and is once again knocking on the door. Whoops, let's get this out of the way because this is coming into play here. But it's knocking on the door of this resistance trend line right there. So generally speaking, you can see that this area presented some problems there and there. Never quite hit it there, but, you know, again, generally speaking, and then right there, generally speaking, had some problems with it. So point being, this is certainly going to be the main breakout area. But keep in mind, even if the price does break it, don't get me wrong, that's a great step in the right direction, but not that far off is going to be that pink line up there, the 200 period moving average at $8.52. So just because it breaks that line, Like I said, don't get too excited because there's still work that needs to be done in the form of breaking that 200 period moving average. As far as areas of support are concerned, then once again, really at this point, it's all about the purple line there, 50 period moving average, which earlier today did a good job of providing some support. So keep an eye on that if there are any pullbacks. But in my mind, the very pressing dynamic and probably most interesting dynamic that most people will be watching is, can the price get the breakout of that resistance line and then the breakout of the 200 period? Let's see what next week has to offer. Next one, Aapl Apple, and a very interesting situation here. And what I'm very curious about is, can the price, has it stabilized enough to actually get a break up through this area here at 133, which in my mind is that main area of resistance. And what leads me to think that maybe some stabilization, as anticlimactic as it sounds, is the price finally stopped putting in new lows and actually today put in 3 higher lows. Now, does that guarantee anything? Of course not. This could just be a temporary pause before it rolls back over. But my point here is it at least plausible? Is it at least a rational thought that, okay, finally the price is starting to show some signs of strength? Maybe, just maybe, this is some sort of temporary pause before another move back up through that 133 mark. So 133, in my mind, very, very important level of resistance. As far as supports are concerned, if the price does roll back over, key level in my mind sits right down there around the 129.75 area. But again, like the other ones, I think the most interesting dynamic is more so from the breakout standpoint and whether or not the price can get a move up through 133. And next one here, ELMS, another penny stock and another situation which I've been talking about, the breakout dynamic. And maybe you can connect the dots here on what I'm about to talk about in terms of the breakout level. But if you're saying, hey, Clay, I've noticed that the pink line right here, the 200 period moving, has rejected the price several times here over the past days, then you would be right. And I assure you, a lot of people have noticed this level. So call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. I'm not implying a guarantee, but I am implying that it's rational to think that if the price can get up there and break through 48 cents, that could create a whole another surge of upwards buying pressure. So 48 cents, definitely a very, very interesting level. And all in all, a nice little miniature pattern here is formed. You have, again, the resistance, the support, the upwards move right there. Have yourselves a little bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play these scenarios, you like to play penny stocks, here's another one. Next one, Tsla Tesla, and a couple of very, very well-defined levels that I know I'll be watching next week as the week gets started, as somebody that, trades Tesla almost every day. So first level here from the resistance standpoint that I'll be watching along with a lot of others is the purple line there, 50 period moving average. You can see this was a problem point there. And then mid-afternoon, once again, a problem point. So right there at 660, certainly going to be a key resistance area, a key potential breakout point that I myself and I'm sure a lot of other traders will be watching. And then because the price did get back above this area of resistance, that goes to now being an area of support. And what I'll be very curious about, I'm going to actually adjust this a tad right down to that 643 mark. So you can see 643, give or take a couple dollars, was certainly the bottom part of this little congestion and support area here. So if the price were to come down here, you're going to have a bunch of people, myself included, wondering, okay, is a bounce coming? It's a breakdown coming? And then being able to formulate trade plans based on how the price, behaves at that level. But in my mind, definitely the key levels here moving into next week, 660 main area of resistance, and then 642-ish, 643-ish right down there, main area of support. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then certainly get signed up for the free class next week. It'll be Thursday, June 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then do 2 things for me, please. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching next week. But hitting the like button and leaving a basic comment communicate to me that you are enjoying, and as long as I know people are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the time and effort required to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free class next week, hit that like button, leave a simple comment. Everybody take care and have a great weekend.